There's a concept in halacha, it's called avak lashon hara. Avak means dust, but it means saying something about someone that's positive and immediately will spark people to say negative things about him. So you're just causing it, but you didn't say anything negative. So on COL, there was an article about getting the Rebbe on the Google Doodle, because Google Doodle is it's the most expensive piece of real estate on the internet, and it has no ads. It's a white page. So, and there's a thing called pose law. Pose law is where someone writes something and you're not even sure if the person is for or against. Like someone very naively trying to represent the Rebbe, and he says the Rebbe said this and this, and automatically it makes the Rebbe look stupid, right? So that's pose law. Like when we were kids, we had these when there was issues with Meshachistim and non-Meshachistim, or what they call anti-Meshachistim, whatever it was. So one boy had a theory that these ill-mannered and creepy type of Meshachistim were implants, and they were like, oh, these guys are being paid to do this, you know. So we didn't know what's the... So the article is asking Chabadniks to email Google proposal or something like that, and asking them to email in numbers. Not a good argument of why you should put the Rebbe on there, but let's get a bunch of people to do it, and maybe by the power of numbers. Now, you have to understand, Google.com, it is a business, but it has some morals. One of the models of Google is do no evil, and education, free education for everyone. And they want to put the Rebbe on for Education Day. So, if Google is a business, and a lot of Arabs have a lot of oil, why don't they put Muhammad up? Muhammad is very near and dear and cherished by many Muslims, moderate and extremist alike. So if you just put up Muhammad and you say something nice about him on his birthday or on his yard site, that is big. That is big. That is a big... Talking about Muhammad, I thought he was coming for me, or maybe it was ISIS. So why would Google not put him up? There's a lot of companies of technology in the Gulf states with the Arabs. Scientists, much less, because they don't want to hear about science. But technology and computers, they're very welcome there. So why won't they put him up? Because they have very high morals and standards. They don't put up. So here... So why would someone, so when I look at the article, I don't know, are these people maliciously doing it against the Rebbe, or they're naive? So the Ben Ish Chai in his Sefer of Musar says it's better 10 enemies than one fool. The damage that one fool does is worse than 10 enemies, because there was a guy who was very antagonistic to the Rebbe on a Facebook group called Sounds Lubavitch, but okay, and he proposed and he asked the question, why isn't the Rebbe on Google Doodle? And one woman said, oh, well, I work in Tel Aviv in a Google office, and I asked them and they just laughed at me. And yes, someone also suggested that the only thing that this article is going to do is get a bunch of Lubavitchers to try to get the Rebbe on, and then it's not going to work, and then they're going to think that Google is anti-Semitic or self-hating Jews. That's the only thing that they will accomplish in reality. So the comments in the comment section was very interesting. One was like, I hope I don't want to dampen your spirits, but it takes a long time to get. These proposals are very backdated, you know. It takes a long time to get someone on the Google Doodle. Well, for that, I would say, if you're a good Lubavitcher, think 10 years ahead. Think now, start proposing, get a good argument, get a better argument, and try to get it on.
So it definitely...
Next issue is, okay, so the next person asks, have they put religious leaders there before? Good question, but some people see the Rebbe as a humanitarian or someone who is pushed for education. They do celebrate artists, scientists, and activists, people who have pushed for education and helping people. So the answer is no. Even Mother Teresa didn't make it on there. Because anybody that knows about her knows she was a sadistic and she didn't do any good. She just raised a lot of money and she got a lot of fame, and a lot of gullible humans, especially politicians, went for it. So the question is, why would they put this question up there to begin with in this little campaign if they cared about the Rebbe? And if that's not avak lashon hara, what is? So what category do you want to put the Rebbe under? If you want to put him under a religious leader, many from people in the yeshiva world might argue that they have someone better. They could show the writings, the keys, things like that. If you want to argue that he was an activist for education, why is Crown Heights the highest percent of people that believe in pseudoscience, anti-vaccination, and they believe in witchcraft? You have people coming around Crown Heights removing ayin haras because it was done this way for 3,000 years. Some cave dwellers were breaking a bone and spritching blood and mixing it in a bucket of water, and you believed it. If the Rebbe was an activist for education, why would Crown Heights be a highest concentrate of people who believe in myth and pseudoscience? So a few gullible people will think Google hates them. Get in line with a billion Muslims and so on. And everyone that believes Mother Teresa was a saint also would think that Google is... If you read the Google story, the Sergey and Larry Page Brin, when they first set out, they went to Tel Aviv, and they were very interested in Russian immigrants. That was their story, and that's what they that's what they had in common. They started up in a class in Tel Aviv, in a high school. That was their first. Shimon Peres was standing there, and they introduced themselves and said, what their plan is. So my question comes back to the point here. When they write that article, are they trying to get Lubavitchers to think that the Rebbe didn't accomplish much in 40 years? He just followed whatever the masses were doing. When there was women's rights, the Rebbe would pretend that he's also part of it. When there was Education Day, he would pretend he's also part of it, because the boys in Crown Heights don't even know what's going on in the Torah world. So really they're robbed of their own heritage. As my teacher from Yeshiva, Litaita, said to me here in California when we met again, he said, in the 1980s, I couldn't even teach you Judaics, because not all of Judaics agreed with the Rebbe. So what is the... So there's a thing called Poe's Law, where you don't really know if the writer is malicious or really stupid. But either way, the damage is done. The avak lashon hara was done. And instead of trying to do good in the name of the Rebbe, you're trying to bring up that the Rebbe was this and that, and good luck there. It's not working. One time a friend in camp, his name was Yossi Lowenbein, he said he lived in Borough Park, and we were in Guy Yisrael, and he said to me, I have a friend, a neighbor, but don't get angry at me. Don't get angry at him. He doesn't believe that Rebbe has Ruach HaKodesh. But he's a good guy. He's a nice, frum kid. That was the chinuch we got. We were walking in Disneyland, me, Shimi Garbos, a couple of kids. We had a trip from Yeshiva Litaita. We saw a rock in the middle of Disneyland on the floor, and the rock said, the year of the child or something. And he said, yeah, this is Shnasa Yelad Vayalda, that the Rebbe pushed the whole campaign. So what did the Rebbe accomplish? That he made us think that he actually did good in the world? He fooled a couple of kids on Montgomery Street and Crown Street. That's what he did. I don't know if the article is trying to make fun of the Rebbe, or is innocently believe that. But we can always do good in the name of the Rebbe. That nobody could take away from us. We could change history by making history. I do goodness and kindness, and I do secular acts of goodness and kindness in the name of the Rebbe. That nobody could take away from us. Thank you for watching.